Hello. Oh, there you go.
Enough of me on here. Why? Never mind. I'll just leave it. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you. It wasn't Zoom, it was me. I was on the wrong one. So
Oh,
I thank
okay.
you for your patience. And I just um I didn't realize, I was like, oh wait, where is she? And there you are. Okay. All right. So thank you. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
You're here. Okay. What do you have for our agenda today? Turn on.
Uh, I just have, I guess, either either one of the assignments, the reflection or
Okay.
the what?
Or the outcomes.
Yeah, whichever one doesn't matter.
Okay. Thank you for getting your verbatim in as well.
Oh, you're welcome.
We
And I did.
probably can do both. Which one would you like to pull up first?
Let's do the
We probably-
outcomes first, and then
Okay.
we can do the
That
other
tends
one.
to be easier. Yeah.
Okay. And on my verbatim at the top is where that paragraph is, in that area that you said we needed to have the
Yes.
that's up there at the top.
Okay. Excellent.
Let's see. Oops, got too many things open. Share.
I don't know who this other person is, but I'm gonna let them. Oh, they left. It's one me now. Okay.
Oh, somebody was
On my
else.
screen, there were two me's.
Okay.
Okay, make it a little larger. Let me switch glasses.
Is that good, or you want me to do?
That's good.
Okay. Um, Demonstrate one's ability to facilitate group process as appropriate to one's context. Facilitating is not easy as I'm an introvert. However, I have been feeling more confident that I can do this work. Reflecting on this experience, I am reminded that actual facilitation is as much about listening and guiding as it is about leading. By combining questions, challenges, personal stories, and well-timed interventions, I was able to foster a space where everyone could contribute, reflect, and grow. And this even underscored the profound impact that thoughtful facilitation can have on individual lives and the collective spirit of a community. If effective facilitation also demands vigilance and balancing participation. At one point, a participant began to monopolize the sharing space situation, which is not uncommon in group settings. Drawing on my authority as a pastor, I intervened with empathy and firmness, gently redirecting the conversation. This not only preserved the integrity of the group's process, but also modeled respectful boundary setting for all involved.
Excellent. Scroll back up.
Okay. All the way up right here.
No, right there. Yeah. So, where you say this experience, you just need to define the this.
Oh, okay. Okay. The birthright narrative when I facilitated that experience. Okay, I'll fix it.
Correct. That's it. Everything else is excellent. I think you give very good examples of group process, and of your learning, and a very good specific example of boundary setting and modeling in the moment. Well done.
Thank you.
I think you also demonstrate a knowledge about trauma informed care in a group setting dealing with a difficult topic, but you don't have to add that, just pointing it out.
Okay. Thank you. I think this is the next one.
It is, yeah.
Demonstrate one's ability to assess and understand the main points of research articles and any major limitations. I'm aware that there are people in my congregation who have experienced trauma. I didn't know how to help. I was reading the book Moving from Shame to Self-Worth, and it interested me. This resource helped me differentiate my emotions from the congregation, allowing me to view the church through the lens of family systems. This research has allowed me to view the church in a different light. I also learned that if I manage my anxiety and have a less anxious presence, then this could have a significant impact on the congregants, and they can start to regulate their emotions. My current resources are the book mentioned earlier and Creating a Healthier Church. I'm also getting ready to read Listening Ministry, Rethinking Pastoral Leadership.
Tell me about Listening Ministry, Rethinking Pastoral Leadership.
I haven't started reading it yet, but it's it's um it's telling you about I guess being present and listening and not interjecting so much your words, but just kind of focusing on what the person is saying and not so much what they're saying. Also, is what you don't hear them saying as well.
Correct. Excellent. So you have a membership to ACPE.
Mm-hmm.
Scroll down just a little bit. It's points of
Back up or
right there.
right there.
So you have identified 3 resources. They would be
Mm-hmm.
considered sort of secondary resources.
Okay.
The indicator wants you to demonstrate your ability to access and understand the main points of a research article. So
Oh,
you
okay.
can go on the ACPE website
Mm,
under research and find something specific to family systems and trauma-informed care, a single article.
okay.
You could also go to transforming chaplaincy and find a specific article. And articles are usually like 5 or 7 pages.
Right, right.
And then you would read that research article and see
Mm-hmm.
how it adds to the research you've already done. You don't need to eliminate anything you have in here. The resources you're using are good secondary resources, but the article will seal the
Okay.
deal for this
Okay.
indicator.
And you
And
said
when
it's
you,
on the ACP website.
yeah, do you're sharing? Open up another web link and keep sharing and share your screen. I think you can do it better than I can.
Okay. I have it open.
So you see news and resources.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if it's under there because I'm not sure exactly where it is.
Are you
Nope.
talking about on the ACP website?
I'm trying. Yeah, okay, publications. So stop sharing your screen for a second.
Okay.
Let's
Let
see
me
if
go
I can
back.
go back. Can you see my screen?
It's coming up.
Okay. Let me know when it's up.
It's up.
Is it say ACPE with bulbs?
Yes.
Over to the side here, it says news and resources.
Yes.
And then if I click news and resources, I'll see, publication. Hey, stay on there. I'll see
Yeah.
publications.
I see the publications and research. Mm-hmm.
Okay, under there, reflective practice journal. You
Uh-huh.
can look in that journal and find articles. Journal of Pastoral Care and Counseling. You could find them. Chaplaincy Innovation Lab and Transforming Chaplaincy as well. But let's just say you took the reflective practice journal. It's going to be a link.
Mm-hmm.
What I can't remember is if it has a search engine. It does. So I'm clicking. You see how I'm clicking on search?
Mm-hmm.
And I might put in family systems and trauma-informed care. What is it giving me? It gives me no results. So this is where you're going to play with these these resources, and hopefully still no results. Um, Hopefully it'll point to a bunch of articles that you end up then having to narrow down. I didn't put dates in because okay, so becoming a healthier pastor, family systems, and the pastor's own family. So let's say that was an article you wanted to use. So you would click on that article, and there it is, and it gives you an abstract, which is an abbreviation of the article and all of that kind of stuff. Just tell you where it's located. And it's in a PDF format. You'd be able to read your specific article.
Okay, I'll get it now.
You get it? Okay, so I don't have to do
I appreciate it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's trauma and spirituality. So your problem is going to be, don't go down a rabbit hole looking at all of the stuff, but pull up a single article. Did I stop there?
Yeah, you did.
And read it. And when you read it, you may notice something's missing. Like sometimes I notice, wow, this doesn't include any communities of color. Or wow, because I use the womanist framework, these all seem to be middle class or upper middle class families. They don't have the same challenges my family's have, or whatever. So you also identified some things that were helpful in the article and some limitations. That's it. So don't delete anything you have, add that. And Lisa, here's the thing. When you go for board certification, what you are adding is what's going to enable you to write to that competency essay for board certification. So it meets the requirement of this indicator. So you're doing so keep this information because you're going to use it for certification.
Okay. Sounds good.
And I think it was just 2.
Yeah. I didn't do any more than that. So let me share the other. You want me to share the other one?
Yes, please. Okay. Very good. Very, 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 very good. Very good.
Okay. So are we reading all of it, or?
Let's see. What do you want to focus on?
Let me see what this is. Well, mostly to see if I hit these marks down here, the behavior, dynamics.
Okay, then let's take me to the top.
Okay.
And let's go through it together.
Okay.
While we're on this, did you get the makeup hour? Did you see what I sent you for the makeup hour?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, I just haven't done it yet. I did pull the movie up on my Amazon.
Good. And it's a good movie, so you won't be bored. Okay, I just wanted to make sure you got it. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it soon. Okay. You want me to read the whole thing?
Yeah, let's go through it together.
Okay. I visit with MH. When I got out of the car, I was startled. JH was standing in front of my car. I didn't know where he came from. He just kind of appeared out of nowhere. This is the person who wrote the letters to the bishop that I was telling y'all about.
Yes.
And has since wrote a couple of more letters, and plus he found my email and he's been sending me letters too. So it's been kind of crazy. I said hello and went inside MH's house. MH told me that she had company on Friday and they were on the porch. And meanwhile, JH was walking toward her porch, and her neighbor who was on the porch with her told him to go home. And JH left, but as he was leaving, he called her the B word 3 times, then left. Then a little while later, he returned, walking back and forth in front of the house. And as he was talking, as he was talking to her Ring camera, me and her were talking, her Ring camera went off, and JH was on the porch looking into the Ring camera. He did that for a couple of minutes, then he turned and walked off. She said, Reverend Moore, he's getting worse. She said he is so unpredictable, and I agree with that. We have tried to get him checked out, but there's no relative that's willing to commit to having him evaluated. We've because we contacted his next of kin and he didn't want to have anything to do with it because he's kind of sick and elderly. See where I'm at. I'm sorry. MH used to cook for him and give JH rides and take him to local food venues to get food. She told me that she gave him a ride to church on that Sunday and asked if she thought that was a good idea with his state of mind. And she said she felt sorry for him. Shoot, sorry. Behavior. It seemed that MH was experiencing fear and some guilt. JH's behavior suggests that he has experienced some crisis. She told me that she was glad that her neighbor set a boundary and asked JH to go home because she wants him to stop coming on her porch and staring at her door or standing at the stop sign and staring at her house. She said that he does this quite a bit and she feels uncomfortable when he does it. The behavior that MH exhibits of community activism may stem from her childhood experiences of her mom caring for the community and her own beliefs as informed by the scriptures. The dynamics, emotional fusion. MH expresses empathy and care for the community. She does not like to see people in lack. She has helped support JH for over 40 years. Self-awareness. She now feels that it has been a crutch, and she said the community has hindered him from being independent. Now she's choosing not to communicate or help JH anymore, primarily because of his mental status.
So for that self-awareness, how would you describe how she feels? You said, what's that feeling when you feel like something you've done has been a crutch and that you have hindered him from being independent? How now she's choosing not to communicate? That's a behavior.
Okay.
What?
You mean like she feels bad that she helped all those years and not in a good way or something
Yeah.
like that?
So how would you describe that if I feel bad about something?
I don't know.
Guilt, shame, guilt, fear.
I think
Just
guilt, because I think I mentioned early guilt. She was feeling guilt. And maybe it might be some shame in there because she knows she played a part in it. Well, it's not just her, the whole community. I mean, two communities, Forest City and Spindale. I mean, it's like a wide community that has done it. So,
okay. So for self-awareness, it's great that you named what she said. That's
mhm,
excellent. That is her self-awareness. And
mhm.
your observation, your interpretation of it may be, hey, it could be guilt, it could be whatever. Excellent. Keep going. So you identified triangle.
So that's okay. The self-awareness part's okay. I
Yeah,
need
because
to add some.
you're talking about her self-awareness,
Right.
right? Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Um, at some points in the conversation, I felt like I was in a triangle. She seemed to imply that she and anyone else helping JH in the church blame me because some of your sermons discuss assisting people in need. Um, Disengagement. I believe she is attempting to distance herself from JH emotionally. She's seeking to release herself from the obligation of care that once and compelled her. Interpersonal dynamics among, okay, I was in non-H's presence, even though I feel like this situation is very concerning. I practiced self-awareness and was able to regulate my, excuse me, emotions during this conversation.
What were your emotions during the conversation? What was going on within you?
Um, well, I had a lot going on within me because of what had happened, what JH has been saying about me and the church, I guess, and about writing these letters and everything. So I had a lot of, um, I don't know what it was. I had a lot of emotions. I didn't know, um, I guess I didn't know where to direct my emotions. I had a lot of stuff going on. Um, I don't know if it was anxiety, fear, um, maybe a little bit of fear because I felt like, him writing the bishop and all that and could affect my job. because
Mhm.
they seemed like they actually kind of believed some of the stuff he was saying. I was like, how could you, Cam Newton, he was talking about Cam Newton and stuff like that. And I'm like, Cam Newton has never been at my church, so I don't know why you would believe something like that. But anyway,
So it's important. You're describing what you did. I practiced self-awareness and I was able to regulate my emotions, which is great. And naming those dynamics is important. That I was nervous. Everything you just said, that's all part of your intrapersonal dynamic. Very good.
okay.
And I mean, because it's a lot. It's not a small amount. Very good.
Right.
So
Thank
then
you.
your self supervision. I managed my emotions. What does that mean? Can you say more?
Um, well, inside, I feel like I just wanted to kind of flip out. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
was like, I was all over the place. I didn't know what, I wanted to say something to him. I wanted to, um, I mean, because this all happened like this was the same day it happened, and it was just like all these emotions was going off, and I didn't know, you know, what to do with it, because I'm here by myself. I don't have anybody here to really support me with this. I mean, my church supports me somewhat, but when you feel like this, you really want your family around when things like this happen to me. And I felt like I didn't have that support. You know what I mean? So I felt kind of disconnected. I didn't, you know what to do with all my emotions. But I guess I didn't let her, put it off on her, my emotions.
So
Um,
all that is your intrapersonal dynamics. I
okay,
always
so
those
so that
confused.
so
Intra. That's intra.
it,
You mentioned both. Both what's
oh,
going on with you and with her. The dynamic
mm-hmm,
between you and the church. The
mm-hmm,
dynamic between the church and the bishop. The dynamic between you and the bishop. So there are all these dynamics, and what's helpful about writing them out
mm-hmm.
is it helps you also look at how you're quote managing your emotions. So you're
Okay,
managing all those dynamics, or those dynamics are managing you, or both, right?
both.
Yes, it's both. Yeah. So all
Okay,
of that, yeah.
so
So then when
that needs to be moved to intrapersonal, all that, what I
the
just said.
interpersonal dynamics you mentioned, you would list, and the intrapersonal dynamics you mentioned, you would list. Yes.
Okay.
So when you get to self supervision and you say, I managed my emotions, I now we have some idea of what you were doing.
Oh, okay.
And I
Okay.
would say, how? How
Okay.
how can you do that? And then underneath it, as part of it seems of how you do it with the 40-second prayer.
Okay.
But how else were you managing your emotions? Were you tapping?
Um,
Were you yeah, what else
my,
was
my,
going on?
my, my right leg shakes a lot, so that's what I was doing. Because
Okay.
she'll tell me this, why are you doing that? Stop shaking your leg. But that's my right leg. I shake it a lot when I get a lot of frustration or stuff.
So that self-awareness is good. That so you notice when that happens, you're like, "Oh, I'm frustrated. I'm whatever. I'm feeling this. Okay, now I got to work with that because maybe she's frustrated too."
Right.
You know,
Right.
very good. That's good self-awareness. And then to stop the behavior is your self-supervision.
Okay.
You supervised yourself and said, "Hey, stop doing this. It's distracting. I'm aware it's my frustrations. I'm okay. I'm safe." You also said, "Hey, the church doesn't support me." Well, where is that coming from? Why does the church need to support you? Naming
Um,
what it's about is important.
now what say it again?
You said, but and the church doesn't support me. And you said, well, sometimes they do.
Yeah. They do. Yeah. I'm not gonna say they don't support me. I shouldn't say that. I don't feel when I'm here and because all the church members live in a different community than I live in, right?
Mm.
I'm in Forest City. They live in most of them live in Spindale, and one person lives in Forest City that I know of. But I shouldn't say they don't support me. I don't feel connected because I'm in this community by myself, you know.
Mhm.
Like if I was at home and my mom's like, I am like 6 miles from my mom, but on my mom's street is all my family members, you know.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
could just go there and I can feel connected, you know what I mean? Um,
So I'm
I,
hearing there's geographical distance
mhm,
that contributes to your sense of not being connected.
right, right. Yeah.
And the
I should,
reason
yeah, I'm sorry.
what's the reason you wanna be connected?
Um, I don't know. I guess if something happens, I would feel more supported if if my neighbor was one of my church members, but maybe not because then again they might be in my business too much. So I don't know. So I don't know. It could work either way, you know. Um, I don't know.
But that is
I
coming up for you, and that's important thing to observe. Hey, it's interesting that you just observed MH's neighbor setting a boundary for MH with JH.
right.
And I wonder if anything came up in you like, wow, I wish I had somebody have my back like that.
Yeah. And to be honest, MH does because she has definitely supported me since I've been in the community. I do go to her house sometimes and talk with her. But I don't go to any other church member's house because she's the only one that ever reached out since I've been in this community, invited me to her house. So I feel a little bit more connected with her.
Mhm.
But I don't know.
Yeah, that's great observation. Good self-awareness. You also said MH sounded like she was blaming you because you always preach sermons about service.
Yeah, she did. She did. She said maybe you should stop preaching those kind of sermons. I was like, I can't stop preaching those kind of sermons. I mean, I said that I feel, but what I told her is this. I said, there are y'all have chosen one person out of this whole community to support. I said, there's more people to support, and there's different ways to support. Calling somebody, care, all kind of things to support. I said, you can't just say that this message is just going to you to represent this one person in the community. I said, no, that's not how it works. So that's what I told her.
Hmm.
So I
How
don't
did you
know
feel about that?
about her saying that, but
Yeah.
the blaming me. I didn't like it too well, but I didn't let her know I didn't like it. But I just told her that that's not what the message is about. I mean, God wants us to be there for our neighbor, and JH is just not the only person in the world, And I told her that. I mean, well, how do I feel about it? I guess you said, how do I feel about it? Yeah, I was kind of aggravated with it, but um, but then again, I was also aware maybe the message needs to be changed to something else, Still still preaching service, but maybe saying something different. I don't know.
What was your leg doing when she said that?
Shaking as always.
It's good self-awareness that, hey, I'm feeling some feelings here about what she said. It's good self-supervision that there may be some change in my behavior that may be appropriate, and you have a process for figuring that out. And so that's important. I didn't want to just skip over it. I want to acknowledge that I heard you say it, and I appreciate you reflecting some more on it. And I
Mhm.
hear you saying there are many ways to help people. And maybe the way we help JH now is different than the ways we used to help him. And
Right.
that is okay. Is that okay?
Mhm.
So that it isn't either or. Either we helped him right or we helped him wrong. Either we helped him and liberated him or we helped him and, as quote unquote, made him less independent. Maybe it's both and, we've
Mm,
helped him, and some of that help has been more helpful than others. And we've helped him, and that's been a good thing to do. And the kind of help he needs now changes, so we need to change the way we help him. And that it's all good and positive, and also has places where it can improve,
right, right.
all at the same time.
Yeah.
So
So
your
it's not
help.
a, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying back what you said. It's not a bad thing that we did that, the community helped them. Just need to help them in a different way.
Now,
Yeah.
things change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
that's great. That's really excellent. It sounds like a connecting of your head and heart.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Can you
Okay.
hear that?
I can hear it now, but when I'm writing it, when you see that, it's just hard to kind of articulate it and do it, put it on paper. But I see it now.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And figuring out what that different connection looks like includes, using those resources you have. If it's a therapist who's able to say this is the what the social system says has to happen next. If it's adult protective services, this is what would be help, whatever it may be, you'd be networking and using those
Right.
skills that you have to consult other members of the care team in the community on your observation. JH seems to be escalating towards a mental health crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And what does supporting him, helping him look like now? And sometimes adult protective services can be very helpful, especially given that the next of kin is someone who is physically and mentally and emotionally unable to help him.
Yeah. So do they have that adult protective services? You can call somebody for that.
Yes, they do. It's called Adult Protective Services.
Okay.
And each community may name it a little different, but if you reach out, they can, that's a close enough to their name. It's like child
Yeah.
protective services,
Yeah.
and direct you
Yeah.
through, it's community. It's child protective services. So you might have some repeated phone calls and some hurdles and some roadblocks, but you are ultimately saying what you've written in here. He's headed towards a crisis, and there is reasonable concern that he may hurt himself or someone else.
Yeah. Because for some reason, he has an issue with kids, and he goes to the daycare that's in the same community, and he'll stand out there and he'll feel like the kids are laughing at him, joke, making fun of him. These are 4 and 5 year olds just laughing on the playground, and he'll cuss them out and call them all kind of names and stuff. Um, and so they have to take the kids inside when he, starts they haven't called anybody or reported him, but they always take the kids inside. But I don't know. And he always talking about the kids had knives, and the kids were somebody threw a knife at the kid threw a knife at him in my church, and one of the kids cut his clothes up, and the parents had to buy the clothes again and buy him new shoes, which none of that stuff happened. But it's just like he's fixated on kids and knives and stuff.
So
Some
you're
of the stuff.
describing the behaviors of JH, and you're describing someone who is declining. And it's one of those when you see something, say something situations where you could name a number of occasions where you just described his behavior without dismissing it, without interpreting it, and it sounds escalating. It's becoming verbally abusive. It's not grounded in facts. He's it's repetitive, and it's involving engagement with persons whom are afraid of his interaction. He's on my porch. He's staring. He's in the presence of children. It could be that everyone in this care team is kind of waiting on the other person to intervene. And maybe
Yeah.
protective services doesn't have him on the radar at all. Maybe the
Mm.
police department doesn't have him on their radar at all as someone who is escalating towards a mental health crisis. But
Yeah, my therapist, I talked to her about it this week. And she said you really do need to get the police involved, so that they can be aware, you know. Um, so um the trust the trustee is supposed to do that connection, and he said he would, but he didn't come by and get the information from me, because I was gonna give him the letters that he's been writing, and just so that they can be aware, not to do anything maybe, but just to be aware. If something happens, they can say, okay, well, we knew.
why not to do anything?
I don't want them to do something to hurt him.
So not to harm him, but to
Yeah.
help him.
I want them to help them, but I don't want them to, you know, sometimes those situations can go either way. And because he'll probably cuss them out too. I don't know.
So that's a reasonable concern about contacting the police because we
Yeah.
have the lived experience of what can happen.
Hmm.
And knowing that can inform your behavior. And
Hmm.
being aware of that is important because that can also inform the behavior of the trustee, and it can lead to everybody doing nothing.
No, if he doesn't come, today is what, Wednesday? If he doesn't come by today and pick it up, I'll I'll go tomorrow, but I'm gonna have to go to two communities because he's in two different communities. Because he lives in Spindale, but he walks all the way down to this community at the soup kitchen, which is maybe a half a mile from my house, which hopefully he doesn't find out where I live.
So the intervention you are choosing is to take over the responsibility, think about your healthy church dynamic that you've given to the trustee and do it yourself. And I was
Well,
really raising questions about what might be causing the trustee to pause, right? That and what might be a helpful intervention to have the trustee move forward. And it
okay.
and it sounds like your intervention is centered around the police, but you have hesitation about it. Do you see how it's a conundrum? Why move forward when I'm so afraid that this is could cause harm?
Hmm.
And so I'm trying to coach around adult protective services, which is a different entity than the
Yeah.
police.
Okay.
And the letters, although important, are not as concerning to me as the behaviors you have observed that have included him cursing people out, that have
Hmm.
included him becoming verbally aggressive. That is not like his behavior months and months ago. That
Right.
he's at, so that sounds like helpful information for adult protective services.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I just didn't think there was a option but the police. I didn't think there was any other solution. Um, and the letters are kind of escalating a little bit, with what he's saying. And he'll take something that there was an announcement at church on Sunday, and it was like all the men gather in the fellowship hall at, right after church. And so his email to me was, um, "Thank you for calling the meeting of the weak-minded men. I know they were in there talking about me. I know they were meeting about me and talking about me and some other something he said, um and he was talking about one of the church members, Mike. I know Mike has been avoiding me and not having conversation with me for whatever reason, something. But anyway, it's just stuff like that. And then he sent one yesterday. It was like that idiot Mike and blah blah blah. Some of I don't know. It's just like I don't know. He get fixated on something and he don't let it go. I didn't get one today though, so usually he sends it about 8:50 because he goes to the library and does it. But I don't know.
I'm aware of in me that I have a sense of urgency, and I'm anxious for JH and now for Mike. I'm anxious for the people that are the focus of his negative energy, uh, and to use the term his what sounds like his paranoia. I'm anxious that that will translate into physical harm. It's already translated into verbal abuse.
Yeah.
And I'm just aware that I feel very anxious about this situation, and it feels urgent to me that there be an intervention of some sort with JH. And it is in part making law enforcement aware so that if they get a call of someone that meets his description or includes his name, they may have more of a priority on responding because they are already aware.
Hmm.
And even above that, he's not needing less help. He's needing more professional help. And I don't hear him getting that.
Right.
And so it's bothering me. And I'm just sharing that with you. So I'm
Thank
talking
you.
a lot, and I'm trying to coach resources and not rescue.
No,
Um,
I appreciate it because
I feel it.
uh, I felt like people, to me, people feel like he's harmless. That's Johnny. He's harmless. Johnny is not harmless. Not to me. I have a lot of anxiety about it. I have a lot of anxiety at church on Sundays because sometimes he'll come and like if I'm sitting down, you can't see me that way. But
Hmm.
if you sit over this side or sit at that side, you can see me. And he used to sit like where I couldn't see him if I was sitting down. Now he sits right here and he stares at me and it's just like I don't like it. And last Sunday I got up and I went and talked to Mike, who's to my left. And he got up and he got mad and he went out the door and he slammed the door because I got up and talked to Mike. And he doesn't like Mike. But so I don't know. It's very stressful. It's for me it is. And it takes up a lot of my mental time, you know, because I don't feel like the community at the church is taking it seriously enough, you know. And even
Hmm.
the bishop and the DS didn't seem to take it, it's like they were like believing that it was kind of true what he was saying, because he addressed the letter to the DS felons at Wellspring. And I was like, there's no felons. If there's some felons there, I never heard about it. So it's just stuff, I don't know. I am very concerned, trust me. I
Yeah.
think about it all the time. So for my own safety and for the safety of the members of the church, the children in the community, the children at church, you know,
And for
uh,
him.
yeah, that somebody might do something to him as well. Um, so
Yeah. Well, I hope that Adult Protective Services gives some helpful resources. If not, that national crisis number that I gave you for someone who's having a mental health crisis
mhm.
could also be a start. But I hope your local Adult Protective Services would help move things forward. And I appreciate your sharing your fear and the mental and emotional energy that it's taking up. This is all part of those inter and intrapersonal dynamics. And all of that informs our action. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when you said the trustee never did it, I thought, I wonder if he's too overwhelmed, if everybody is just
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
what
Because,
to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's that everybody's, and I told my church member because she's older and she's a kind of a larger lady. And I told her, your nephew got you bear spray. You at least need to have the bear spray if you're sitting on your porch. Stop doing things without having some type of protection around you.
Mhm.
Because he just comes and he'll walk up on her porch. He don't care if she's got company or whatever. He just comes and he'll sit. And he's not going to initiate any conversation. He never says anything. He never says not one. Now, if you talk to him, he'll talk back. But he never, ever like initiates a conversation or anything. And even it's kind of weird at church last Sunday because I was asking for prayer requests, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, never said anything ever in the last 6 years that I've been there. Yes, I like to pray for the people who attacked me and the prayer for all the something that's happening at the church. Somebody at our church has assaulted him, but they hadn't. And for doxing, somebody was doxing him at the church, and they were doxing him every 6 seconds. And I'm like, you don't have a computer or a phone. How can they dox you or whatever? But anyway, so he said that, and I was like, everybody's looking at him like, because everybody was shocked, like, is that Johnny? He said something, because you never hear him say anything. If you say something to him, he'll say something back, but never. So something's going on that it's
So,
getting, you
yeah,
know what I
even
mean?
that describes a great escalation in his behavior. So you
Yes.
have lots of examples
Yeah.
of behavior declining.
Yeah.
Mental health is deteriorating. He needs professional help.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you for the information because I didn't know where to go. I didn't know. I just thought the police, like I said, I had no idea where else to go, with it, you
Well, thank
know.
you for sharing it. And I know we need to stop here. And I thank you. I'm glad JH and the community has you. And I'm happy to talk about it again. And
Hmm.
however, even if you hit a roadblock, I'm
Hmm.
happy to strategize with you on other potential avenues.
Okay.
And I'm hopeful. You know how systems are, but I mean that. So if APS, Adult Protective Services, is a dead end, let's feel free to strategize more on what else can we do?
Right. I'll call them when I get off. I'll try to find the number and call them when I get off here.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
No,
you. Really good work. All right.
thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Take
All right.
care.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
I don't know how to get it. Oh, there you go.
morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, good. What did you have for our agenda today?
Um, just some reflection and good news. I'm taking self-care very seriously, Mom.
Good.
Yeah, yesterday I'm in Florida, right? I told you I'm in Florida. Yesterday I did a 1 hour walk by the shore. Felt really good. I'm like I made
Good.
I made it a promise to intentionally do self-care and it's working beautifully. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah, especially as I wrote to you, the network here is horrible. So the thing was getting me so stressed. And I said, you know what, just go out for a walk. And when I came back, I could feel that stress and tenseness evaporated. So count little blessings. That is my little blessings. And I still plan today to do that again. So walk by the shore and yeah.
Very good.
So that is those joy moments. But one thing I want to say also is that tomorrow I will do hotspot from my phone for my laptop, but my signal on my phone is not that strong either.
Okay.
So what I will do, I will try to hotspot on my laptop as best as it could, and if it goes off, then I will reconnect via my phone.
Okay.
So yeah.
Sometimes I've been told that it helps to be off camera. So if that happens and we
Mhm.
discover if you're off camera, have you heard that?
Yeah, I've been told that, and yeah, that's true. I've heard that. Yeah, to be off camera too. I'll try every means possible tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
yesterday I rarely did anything because it was so horrible. I need my laptop to work. But in the night, I hotspot and I was able to work for 2 hours before it really couldn't work again. But apparently, the result is working so hard because everybody is complaining. I'm like, if I knew I'm spending 8 days here. If I knew, well, there's nothing I could have done. I already had booked it. But they are working very hard to restore the internet connection. Normally, I come here nearly every year. Normally, it's not like this. This year is just yeah. So
okay.
I'm giving you heads up already for. I'm just praying a miracle happen. At least that I get good connection to do my own verbatim.
Okay.
The rest I can listen differently. Yeah.
So if it is helpful for you to go first, then
Mm-hmm.
you would really need to jump in with that because I think it's Alfredo always tries to go first. And take a moment as a part of our group dynamics to let
Mm-hmm.
the group know, hey, this is what's happening with me. I'd like to do this. If I have some problems, this is my strategy. I'm going to try again. I might, blah, 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 so that everybody's aware. And
Right.
that's
Right. I
happening.
will do that.
Good.
I will do that. Yeah. And I also wanted to share the thing I really wanted to share, and I'm going to ask also. I tried to ask, bring it to IS and group. It is that moment of the year. Alphonsine, you know her story by now. The one that lost her husband,
Yes.
Emmanuel.
Yes.
Um, they have the tradition. I'm sure you also have that tradition. I'm not sure you have it. Anyway, it's a Cameroonian tradition. It's most African countries too. When your husband dies, for a certain moment, it also depends on the person. You wear black or white. And then there is a ceremony. This is the crux of the issue. There is a ceremony that is called a removal of the clothes. There's a language for it, but the meaning means removal of that. And there's a big ceremony for that. That one is coming up, is scheduled for August 30th. So on Saturday, Alfonso had called me at her house because they're preparing. So she wanted me to be there when she talks with the people back home. I told you how she's really been berated in every shape and form. I'm actually doing my verbatim on her. So she wanted me to be there, so I went with her. And what I suggested for her is that I'll stay in the background, that I will not appear in the video, so that the people do not feel, because if I appear in the video, they might not be comfortable in talking. I say, you know what, I'll just stay here with you, but I would like to be in the background, but I'm here as a presence to be with you. So that's what I did. Oh my God, the insult this woman gets. She has always told me, but I have never experienced it myself. One, their biggest problem is she's not going to Cameroon. You know, I think I shared with you that when the husband's body was taken to Cameroon, this guy was in a secret society. And Alphonsine and her 5 children normally would have gone, because you don't send the husband's body without going. It just doesn't make sense. But in this particular case, everybody told them not to go, because they required of her this ritual. It's a ritual that, I mean, it's horrible ritual. It means she's taking the place, she and her first son, they're taking the place of her husband. That is, they are replacing their husband. It's a horrible ritual. You cannot even visualize, and I don't even want you to visualize it. Because of that, everybody advised her not to do it, because they asked her, even my church, she's a member of my church, I think you know that. Do you want to go? She was adamant she didn't want to go. Particularly, she didn't want her son to go. So they did not go. They sent the body, which was also very controversial, because everyone said if they didn't send the body, it would have been more chaotic. The family absolutely wanted the body. However, yeah, everyone said, how will you send your husband's body in Cameroon? Your children are all here. Normally, when somebody's children are here, even in the African community, the children are all here, that person is buried here, so that the children can have a place to go to visit. And sending the body to Cameroon, the children would, the way the situation is, those children, I know them, they will never go there. And their father's grave is there. So it was already a very controversial situation. But now, fast forward now for the removal of the mourning clothes that is coming August 30th. She was so insulted. She was so insulted that I felt really, that human right person in me got very, really mad at sitting there helplessly seeing this woman berated, dehumanized. All they care is that Alphonsine will be at peace if she let go of all this Emmanuel's property in Cameroon, because Emmanuel had a lot of real estate in Cameroon before was coming here. So they want his bank account here. She has to go and get how do you call it? She has to get the statement to show the. I'm giving you all these details. The data I'm not putting in my verbatim at all. I'm just this highlight of the her worries that I'm highlighting in the verbatim. I'm not giving this kind of details. They're very personal. The one had to bring a print out of his bank account to show exactly how much Emmanuel has. Mind you, for the last, before Emmanuel died, 3 years prior to that, is Alphonsine that worked. The girls work her butt off as CNA to make sure the family survive. Why? Emmanuel had an accident while at work. He was electrician, and his right hand was completely cut off. The fingers were cut off because I think he was doing something electrical work. His fingers were cut off. So this right hand was immobile for 3 years. And those 3 years, he got some disability, not much at all. Mistake he made because they wanted to give them a lump sum of money. Emmanuel refused. That is a mistake he made. So he died without leaving anything for these children. Meanwhile, that money would have really helped them. Anyway, the family thought all this while, because Alphonsine never had ever made it known she was the one sustaining the family. The family thought Emmanuel has so much money. So because they think African women in Cameroon by default depend on their husband, therefore Alphonsine is eating their sons' quote unquote money. So they want her to do it before the 30th. They need her to relinquish the papers for the 3 properties and show them what Emmanuel has before August 30th. And Alphonsine is adamant. She has her 5 children. Those properties in Cameroon, all they rent is their apartment complex property. It get paid directly to the bank, and so there's a lawyer that does that. They have fought that lawyer. That lawyer has nothing to do because all the papers are here with Alphonsine. So they want her to give it by August 30th. Alphonsine, one thing in her tears that day, she said she is not relinquishing anything. And they talked, ended abruptly because at some point, literally, Alphonsine asked me, pause, what do you say? Yeah, pause she didn't pause it. What do? You mute it. And then asked me and told me she wants to turn it off. I said, do what your heart tells you. Do what your mental is good for your mental health. And she abruptly stopped the conversation. So that is the whole thing. And she's really frightened by the whole ceremony is not now chaotic. She's very traumatized by it. It is a ceremony that she will do her own year. She cannot go. So she will do her own year, and we are going to help. She is part of our church. Her church family is going to help her in walking that journey, preparing for the 30th. But she's so traumatized by the situation.
Wow.
They literally, but that is what happens in Cameroon. Women do not inherit, right? So that happened to my mother. I know that. My mom has nothing. When my father died, no, none of the girls have nothing. Mind you, I built my father's house. It's not like it's his. I built that house. He had 3 houses, we have compound. Do you know what is a compound?
Mm-hmm.
Where you own a land and then so they have compound. One of it he built it. I renovated it. I built one for my mom, and then I built one for my dad because my dad was a polygamist. So I wanted to make sure my mom has her own, something she calls her own. And the only thing my mom had is her house, because my brothers, they dare not try. They know it's my money. It's not their money. But the other ones, they cannot actually take it because it is my house. But every land, my father had a lot of land. They took everything. Do you know that within the space of 6 months, they sold 70% of the land my father owned? These boys, my siblings. So I know so well the tradition. So again, this is the counter transference that you know is happening. But this is the stage at which Alphonsine is. I stay in the background. I don't know whether you call that fixing. She really will ask me. I said, I insist, do what is best for you and your children. Because in this situation, it's not just her, it's her and 5. This woman, she has 5 kids. You will never, if you see her, you will never know. 5.
She has sons and daughters?
She has 2 sons and 3. Wait, let me see. Junior, Romeo. Oh, no, 3. The last one is a son. She has 3 sons and 2 daughters. 5 kids.
So I appreciate, wow, I appreciate your observation about the countertransference.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate your question about, is this fixing? And I
Mhm.
would add the subject of trauma-informed care. So what is your countertransference telling you? What is your sense of where you are in the triangle with her? Are you rescuing? Are you coaching? Are you challenging? Are you fixing? And what is your knowledge in trauma-informed care? How are those three things informing your intervention?
I would say that um, in this place, I would see myself as coaching. In this particular um, um, conversation last Saturday, I was intentional to hold the space of a coach because she asked me directly. You remember, I mentored her before.
Mhm.
I start doing before she became a care recipient. So I was very clear about the different roles. Chaplaincy role is very different from a mentor. And on Saturday, I will see it largely, but still, I'm asking your perspective. I see it largely as coaching, because she asked me directly, Mama Alice, what should I do? You know, I said, follow your heart and do what is best for you.
So you turned it back to her.
Right. I turned it back to her and I said, do what is best for you and your children. And especially the moment where she just had enough. She needed to stop that conversation. That moment she was weeping and she turned to me and said she wants to cut this conversation. What do I think? I still ask her, do what is best for you.
So
You know.
so in terms of the drama triangle, she was a victim. This
Yes.
audience were her persecutors.
Mm-hmm.
And when you gave her options,
Mm-hmm.
what's best for you, and she
Mm-hmm.
starts thinking, well, I could turn this off, do what's best for you. You are coaching her and moving her out of the role of victim, because victims
Right.
feel like they have no choices. So
Mm-hmm.
you helped her perceive her choices. So you
Mm-hmm.
coached her into creating a different response, which was
Mm-hmm.
the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Bravo.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
you were also bearing witness
Mm-hmm.
to trauma, to her pain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's very important, Alice. And I would love for you to talk about what you know about what it means to bear witness.
Um, I mean, a fundamental value is being a presence. A fundamental value of chaplaincy, being a
Yes.
presence, walking along. And that's what I think at that moment. Because before I went there, I really paused to really pray because I know it was going to be a difficult moment. She has told me a lot of those stories, and particularly the phone call. It was actually a video call. I knew it was going to be a difficult time. I really took the time to pause, not only to pray and to say, okay, Alice, you're going there as a chaplain.
Excellent.
What are you so I already prepared myself. If I didn't prepare myself, I am sure, because I'm one who will never stand there, watch somebody being dehumanized and do nothing. It's just not in my character. But in that moment, it's like that is where I was validating her choices of what to do. But I wanted to just stay there as that presence, which I told her, I'm here with you. I'm here to be in that person who is with you. Know that I'm here supporting you, but I would choose not to enter that conversation, even though I will not enter by sitting and seeing. But when if I was appeared in that video, those people will not say those things. But I really needed to hear it.
So I just want to repeat it back to you. So you had presence without judgment, presence for her. Your intervention was to be a non-anxious and supportive presence to her. You were holding a sacred space in the midst of this trauma. You're praying, you're interceding before and during. You are affirming her personhood, that this trauma alone does not define her. You're affirming her reality. You know, sometimes we go through trauma and we think, did it really happen? Now you've borne witness to it. So you're validating that, yes, this did really happen, which is critical for mental health, right? Your compassionate presence, not a fixing presence. You're acknowledging her suffering. You're having your own self-awareness of your boundaries and saying, hey, I got some countertransference coming up. And even your own sense of, if they knew I was there, they wouldn't have done this. Well, that's something else coming up in you about your agency authority. That's what I hear that you were doing.
But I want to be honest to say I wasn't completely a non-anxious presence, because the insult, the dehumanization create an anxiousness in me, create anger in me. So I wouldn't say it was non-anxious presence. That piece, no, because I really, really, really was angry within me at seeing this helpless woman there. And hearing, when I was hearing, at some point I really wanted to go out. Then I said, no, I'll sit with her. I'm like, if you go out, how much more her? You know, it's, the point where you hear, they think they have so much power to say all these things to this poor woman who is still a young woman. I will not characterize myself as non-anxious.
What would you characterize yourself as?
I don't know the word to use. I don't know what word I can use that. I would still say it was an anxious but supportive presence or something. Okay. I still was there supporting her, but anxious.
But anxious. Okay. Say more about that.
Because again, like I told you, I had really the urge to get out of there. But my desire to walk with her, alongside her, be that presence for her, motivated me into staying. But I didn't stay to say my heart was still. My heart was not still.
So I'm hearing some excellent self-awareness. I was not anxious. I was not a non-anxious presence. I'm hearing you beginning to name what you were. Your heart was not still. You may even have been angry.
I was.
You resisted the urge to leave because you have made a commitment to stay, so you remain present. Is that okay? What does your womanist framing tell you about your presence?
You don't want to get me going there. You know?
Anger as a form of witnessing is in your womanist paradigm.
Right.
Non-anxious presence is not a womanist framing. It's not. And I'll have to tell you why. Now, is it a good skill to have? Yes. And sometimes do we have it? Yes. And sometimes we don't. And your womanist framing tells you there's another kind of presence you have to have. And sounds like to me that's what you had. And it is not of any less value than a non-anxious presence. There's an angry presence. There's a
Yeah.
resistant presence.
Yeah, that is a beautifully stated resistance. I was, yeah, resistant. And a presence, a protest. Protest doesn't always mean action, right? It's protest against such injustice, dehumanization. Yeah, but my heart was protesting every single word those people were saying. And yeah.
And a non-anxious presence in that context would have been contrary to who you are.
Yes. It will not, you, I mean, it's just will not, it's not me. If I could just say, oh, CP wants me to be a non, it just will not me. And it's not even going to happen, you know.
And is inconsistent with your womanist framing,
Mm-hmm.
inconsistent with your theology.
Yes.
So the goal isn't non-anxious presence, it is
Mhm.
authentic presence.
Amen. That one big time amen to it. That is what I would say, you know. And I'm grateful I didn't leave.
Ooh,
I am so grateful I didn't leave, but I am more grateful.
that is an action to
Right,
not leave.
right. And I'm really grateful she she had that courage and the power of agency to stop that conversation. So that for me was sign of victory, that she
Too.
had the courage to do that for her own mental health. She stopped it.
Hear that.
Mhm.
That's powerful, Alice. You
Mhm.
coached her, you didn't fix
Mhm.
it. Because if you had fixed it, I wonder if then she would have been being obedient.
Mhm.
Instead, you coached her and she was empowered and she
Mhm.
took action. And your
Mhm.
trauma informed care has given
Mhm.
you some insight about what happens when the victim
Mhm.
takes action
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
the kind of healing that can occur because of
Right. Right. Right.
it. And that's that shift
Mhm.
from fixing to
Mhm.
the presence that you were, your authentic presence, the
Mhm.
resistance, the anger, all of it, and
Mhm.
the skill of coaching.
Mhm.
I want
Yeah.
to stand up and applaud, but then you won't be able to see me. That, Alice,
Yeah.
is spiritual care.
Mhm. Mhm. Thank you so much. And I also want to add that Alphonsine was part of the Bible study class we did on mental health and the Gospels. And one of the things I was really emphasizing is the power of agency to refuse to be in situation that re-traumatizes. Or yeah, so she was in that Bible study, and it was really the agency. I emphasize on the power of the agenta and capabilities we have to remove ourselves from situation that re-traumatizes or the situation that creates trauma. And I want to believe I didn't go into that with her really, because I needed to also to live. Also, one thing I'm practicing is um, I stayed for 1 hour and I left. You know, you cannot believe I did that, but I did. I stayed for 1 hour and I left. She wanted me to stay more, and I said I needed to go. But if I was there, I would have asked how the Bible study really. I know that Bible study on mental health really helped. You know, because I also in that Bible study I emphasizes Jesus' own traumatic experiences, and I quoted and Luke 20, is it 22, when Jesus is, my God, why have you forsaken me? And the text says, sweat became like blood. And I interpret that. I said, I mean, even in the ways, if you sweat becoming like blood has a medical term. I've forgotten that term now. Why is my brain so blank? Anyway, it doesn't really matter. And I said, Jesus himself went through really traumatic at that moment, even though in the end he said, my God, why have you forsaken me? But it was really a deep moment of pain and suffering that he said, take away this cup. But in the end, even if he yielded, it is a moment of um I call it, I really actually call it, and I'm writing an article on that where I'm really calling it a traumatic experience. So we talked about pain and then the trauma of, we talked the Gerasene man that people say is at the graveyard, and then the exorcising. I said, you don't understand. I said, I showed how the Bible in and of itself re-traumatizes when this man, first of all, they see him as they call him the Gerasene demoniac. I said, they are also demonizing him, right? That persons with mental health who have schizophrenia nowadays, they act in situations which looks like that. And if you see yourself in the Bible as that character that is being demonized, it's a form of re-traumatizing. And I'm like, if that man, yes, the Bible didn't have categories to name situations like that, but when we read that text, we have to retitle it, because if it stays, and that's why I work with translation, if it stays the way it is, it's not helpful for people with mental health. Because today, that yes, then they said it was demonic. That person has demons, legions. You said legions in me, the text says. But today it's not a reality. They didn't have that category. That's all they knew. If you had any form of mental health, it was demonized in one way or another. But that's not the reality today. We have to be sensitive. So I use all of that text to talk about the kinds of mental health experiences we have today that requires us to really be careful how we read the Bible and how we use the Bible to re-traumatize. So in that anyway, and I was taking the agency to refuse to be called a demon possessed person, and because of the mental health problems you are going through. So that that was a huge
That's
passage that
yeah.
that I think helped her to claim her agency
That's
that day.
powerful.
Because Alphonsine is not that kind of person. I think she's been so, when you are so beaten up and people just dehumanize you, you end up internalizing those things and believing that you are really that person that they say you are.
Mhm.
And she was beginning to be that person. And I think that Bible study really helped her. But
And
for
then
me,
a chaplain came alongside her,
right.
coached her as she claimed some agency. So, how were you re-traumatized in that experience with her?
I was really one, as I told you, the experience of one being me and my mother as women, and my other two sisters as women that were dispossessed after the death of my mom, of my dad. And the kind of dehumanizing language they say, not they couldn't say that to me directly, but they say about women. The rationale for this dispossession, then very, very dehumanizing language about women in quote, and the rationale for why women cannot inherit. I saw that drama playing. I have one uncle who was really so hard on my mom, because my father was very close to my mom. Literally, he had two wives. My mom was the second, but he was very close to my mom. Very dehumanizing language. And I told you, if you see my mom, you will see trauma inscribed in her body. So that was such a trigger. But I've never, for the longest time, I've not been a witness to such language than I heard on Saturday. One, I remove myself every single time. I will not stay in a room with language like that. I just won't.
And
You
this,
know,
when you said you remove yourself, you mean when your mother was experiencing that?
when my mother was experiencing that, I witnessed it. After that situation, because it really I went through a lot of traumatic because again, think about it. I am a parentified child that I did everything for my family. That compound that they call compound is me. You know, I did everything for that family. I was all, and still am doing everything for my family. But that moment when my father died, and the things they said, the rationale they gave for my mother not to be, because I don't care. I didn't care about inheritance. As a woman, I really don't care. But particularly for my mother, I witnessed such abusive, demonizing, traumatizing language that those people used. After that situation, I try not to. And since I started CPE also, I don't stay in spaces that use traumatic language on people. I can't even stand it, and I speak up. But in a chaplaincy role, it's a different thing. As a human rights advocate, passion for social justice, even at APU, I will not let, especially the Latino students, they go through a lot. They form the majority of APU, but they are the least people who have the tools it takes to succeed. I will speak up. I speak up in many situations like that. But I try to remove myself. And that's why that urge that day to get out of that room was very instant. I'm like, I'm not staying here. But I said no. I decided to no. I am here for her, to be that presence with her. I'm going to sit with her. I don't know though if that language continued the way it was, whether I would have been able. I just don't. I can tell because it didn't go that way. I'm happy she stopped it.
What can you recall? Well, maybe that's not so much important as to ask how you are now.
You see, this is the thing. In returning, I made a conscious decision to bring in IS and to be with you one on one to just tell the story as is. In my verbatim, it's very selective. I don't go into details about anything. But I knew just retelling is going to make me very anxious, and my heart, that language, I just can't stand it too. You know, I
So
knew
right
it
now,
was
your heart, right now,
right
you're
now. My heart is hurting. I'm not going to lie. It's my heart is hurting for her, hurting because again my own is triggered by my mother's experience more so, and I know a lot of women go down go. This there's something in me. If only I can write and people read, use the Bible and change this
stop
thing.
stop for a second and hold that space. My heart is hurting for her, for my mother, for women I know, named and unknown. For me, my heart is hurting. Hold that space for a moment.
Mm.
Breathe. Breathe. You are safe. Your mother is safe.
Mm-hmm.
Arthine is safe, even though there's more journey ahead for her. That's important to hold that space. You jump to doing. I'm going to write an article. I'm going to teach another Bible study. If these people would just read and will do and continue to do that liberative work. But part of your self-care is honoring that wounded space for you and breathing through it into the reality of being safe in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Do the work. You will.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You are safe right now. Your mother is safe. Thank God she's not in Cameroon. She's safe, even though she's got a lot ahead of her and her children.
She wants to return in December, though.
Woo! We're not going to the future. You're going to stay in this moment right here with me. It's a lot.
God, my God.
It is a lot. And it's a lot. And you are so skilled, so knowledgeable. You have such history. You are called for such a time as this.
Amen. 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 Amen.
And your flesh is weak.
My flesh is yeah, not only weak, it's so
It needs your self-care.
everything is so porous to the fact that everything gets in, it gets in. If only I should have a tougher skin. I don't. It's so porous, you
You
know.
and Jesus. You and Jesus. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And that moment of allowing yourself to acknowledge, my heart is hurting.
Mm-hmm.
It's important. And breathing your way through it.
Mm-hmm.
You have the ability. Your cognitive abilities are there.
Mm-hmm.
And you're connecting your head and your heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's work.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing it without letting your head, which is the fixer, lead the way.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Very complex.
Yes, you are. Yeah, you are.
Complex.
Remarkable work.
Mm-hmm.
The witnessing you did for her, the presence that you did for her, the resistance, the protest, the advocacy, the coaching.
Mm-hmm.
remarkable work and how God worked through you in a Bible study that was way before this moment.
Mhm.
And the trusting that God orders your steps.
Mhm.
She had something to draw on consciously or unconsciously later.
Mhm.
Remarkable work of just planting the seed,
Mhm.
coming alongside her and
Mhm.
empowering her agency,
Mhm.
starting her healing.
Mhm.
Remarkable work.
Thank you.
And
And thank you, really, that I feel this safe space of absolute trust. And sorry because you are hearing a lot. My culture, you now can you're hearing a lot because it's, I don't want to. I'm extremely transparent with you that I just tell it as is. And I know the womanist in you, your social justice advocate in you. And I am very aware, and that is also one of the reasons I'm like, okay, if there's anyone that I'm not going to come to IS. I come to IS because I know I go back different. I feel, then I do verbatim, which as I say, I'm doing very filtered, really very, very filtered. Because not everybody is in that space. So I really feel very filtered. But I feel so safe to bring it to IS. I'm like, yes.
your
Yeah.
presence mattered. Your work mattered even before you knew it. You knew the mental health Bible study was what it was. And I honor the God in you showing up. And
Mhm.
I'm grateful
Yeah.
Sir didn't hold that space, but you held that space in a different way as coach, as
Mhm.
challenger.
Mhm.
It was costly.
Mhm.
You ignore the cost to your heart, to your spirit, to your body.
Mhm.
That is not okay. So I'm here to encourage you to
Mhm.
acknowledge the cost of
Right.
you living this.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
costs you. So bravo to your boundary of an hour. I almost don't believe you. But I know
This is what
you
he's
are
thinking about. It's very helpful, and I'm trying to do this more. Thinking, pausing, thinking before I get into any conversation now. Right? I really pause and I think, and those boundaries, your voice is in my head also. I pause and I really think and I say, okay, you're going to create boundaries. You're not going to have this conversation exceed an hour. You will keep it maximum. I'm really trying for maximum to be an hour in every conversation.
very good.
It's hard though. It's hard because yeah, it's very hard, but I'm really, really trying.
So
Yeah.
how are you right now in this moment? How are you?
A
Check.
lot better. The breathing. Did I tell you I did a breathing exercise without? No, I didn't. In the
You
end,
wrote it. You wrote it. Yeah,
yeah,
you
I
did.
did a breathing exercise in the end. So yeah.
So glad.
Mhm.
We are out of time.
Yes, that
And
is those boundaries too.
it does. I honor and I celebrate the work you did. That
Mhm.
was awesome work.
Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. All right. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank
Okay,
you. All right. Bye
okay,
bye.
bye.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. I just
Good.
finish a consult. I'm a little bit late, but I'm okay.
I understand. Excuse me, just a minute.
Yes, of course.
Okay. I'm gonna let somebody else get that line.
Yeah, that's okay.
So it's gonna keep ringing, so I'm just gonna mute me. What did you want to cover today?
You know what? Today I want to be sure about exactly what you want us, what you want me to do with the book for the 3 units.
Okay.
You say you want me to give it to them an explanation, an overview about the meaning of the three units. Am I right?
You saying 3 units, you mean 3 chapters?
3 chapters. Sorry. Yeah.
You got it. Yes. How does
Okay.
that feel? Have you had a chance to read them?
Not yet. I'm gonna
Okay,
start.
when you read them, it's gonna really connect with you.
Yeah. Because actually, I'm gonna start reading about. He is explaining about 3 different. How can I say that? 3 different. I forgot the word. Dynamics in a 3 different church.
Yes.
So about the issues that they have it, and I start reading those dynamics that each pastor has in their own church and at different levels. That's what I'm reading right now,
Yes.
and I think it's gonna develop the way they work with
Oh, great.
those 3 different traumas, if I can say it with that word. And it sounds interesting because it's talking about church or regular church.
Yeah, which you
And
know.
and the idea is how we can adapt the idea to the chaplaincy work.
That's right. And how family systems theory helps us make that connection.
Okay, that's
So
my
that
point.
part will come. So you'll do your parts, and Lisa will do her parts because she's especially making the connection to family systems. So it all
Okay.
come together. Very good. I'm
Oh,
excited about it. It's going to be good.
yeah, is it? Yeah, yesterday I sent my Vivaldium to you and to the person,
Thank you. Yes.
and I try to finish it early
I appreciate it.
to be focused on the next step.
So we have 3 of them. We only have 1 more to come, which is great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna be 4. Plus, I'm been working on the reflection that I have to present this tomorrow. The reflection, and I'm working on that. I almost finished. What I'm doing, I have one, and I just made all the adaptations of the changes I need to do it to make the reflection for us in intercultural. How can I make that?
Wait a minute. Let me make sure I understand. Intercultural, you mean intercultural?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I got it. And we're doing verbatims tomorrow. And yours is excellent.
Oh, thank you.
It's excellent.
Thank you. Yeah. I have a couple of issues that I want to discuss with my peers, because I get into the room with one perspective, and I find out myself in a labyrinth, because this lady was overwhelming because has a lot in his place.
Yes.
I can say in a blink of an eye, because this was the last, like I will say, the cherry on the cake. Everything comes apart in her life, and the time I had with her, which wasn't too much in the area, I cannot take her to a safe place because of the family or the dynamic we live in through. I try to minister her in the middle of the chaos because the patient. I was there when the monitor stopped.
Wow.
I was there in the moment and spoke with her when all these things happen, and all the dynamic. I have to be focused only on her and that moment and for that birthday.
Wow.
Because was another dynamic with the wife and the granddaughter who was there with the patient.
Yeah.
So
That's
was interesting, and try to get myself together to be focused and what she needed and the way I can provide care, spiritual care. So I have a couple of doubts about if I'm doing right. And I want to explain that why I feel that way, because she has 4 issues: loss of the work, the financial issue, the married issues, and the daughter issue.
Mm.
So I have to find out which of those 4 are most important.
Mm-hmm.
And what I try to do is I try to think, okay, which one is the now that she has to fix today, because it's going to affect tomorrow, not later on. And I find out and I guide myself through the financial issues, because tomorrow she has to pay the mortgage. Tomorrow she has to buy a food. And the other issues she can deal later on.
Mm-hmm.
But working on trying to help her in that area and thinking all the resources that we have it according to her belief system, according to the religions she has it, and then in a good thing, because she's Catholic. Right here in the area, the priest of the churches have funds to help their members with a financial assistance, and I find out that they are willing to help her.
Great.
So I connect her with one of the priests right here in the area,
Mm-hmm.
and but it was intense. Was so intense in that moment, because I just say to you, I'm not was ready to have the encounter.
Mm.
I have no plans, I have nothing ready to assist her. So I have to reach the resources I have already in me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my point. The most resources we have in us, when these kind of issues come, we are ready to provide them.
Mm-hmm.
And the learning, and the most we learn, the most we know, the most we understand, is the more available we're going to be when the need comes to us.
Mm-hmm.
See? And I'm be happy about that, because in the end I feel like, okay, even though I have those struggles,
Yeah.
and the end was the thing that everything was perfect.
Yes. It
Yeah.
was excellent. What
Yeah.
it also demonstrates is when we don't have the resources, when we don't know what to do, when we're clueless.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not alone.
There's exactly. That's why learn is not a wasting time. Okay?
Say that again. Say that again.
Learn is not a wasting time.
Yeah.
Everything we learn, we're gonna use it somehow and somewhere, in some
Yeah.
point of our lives, for us or for them.
Yes. Yeah.
See, one of the reflection say, when you don't know your purpose, work in your passion, and your passion is gonna guide you to your purpose.
Mm. Mm. I like that.
Yeah, I like that. When you don't know, when you do not know about your purpose, find your passion. Work
Yeah.
in your passion, and your passion is gonna guide you to your purpose.
I love that. And your passion also presses you towards excellence.
Exactly.
You know, I
Yeah.
feel that in you. When you talked about, you said, we do everything with passion. I said, say more, because you have a hunger for excellence. You know what I mean? I mean by excellence?
Yes.
You want to, wow, you want to learn, you want to improve, you want to grow. You're hungry for it.
Yes. Everything I learn, I try to apply the next.
You
Then
too.
the next the next passion I see it, I'm gonna apply this. Has to work. And because the last unit, one of the students say this, truth in the system. And I say, well, yeah, truth in the system. And I apply that. I trust in the system. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to be an expert using hope as an assessment. I know it's FICA, I know it's another,
Right.
but I don't have to be master in everything. If I master use hope, that's all I needed.
Yeah.
That's all I
Right.
needed. And that's what I'm trying to do in my life. Use not to learn everything around me. I try to learn something specific.
Mm-hmm.
Something. Because I find out that the chaplains who work for hospice has had a different dynamic than the aspirant.
Yes, they do.
Yes, and my supervisor say, do you want to go to learn something about hospice? And I told her, I lied, but later on, not today. Because today I'm being focusing where am I right now? I'm not in hospice. I don't want to lose time. When the time came and I work there, I'm gonna learn.
Excellent.
But now I have to be focused on what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm doing. You know?
That is such good self-awareness. That's powerful self-awareness. And that staying in the now, it has implications for trauma-informed care.
Mhm.
So when you ask that question, which you often do, of what's the most difficult thing right now, or what's the most important thing right now, when people have a lot of things going on, you are grounding them in the now.
Yes.
And in trauma-informed care, it helps the person who may be triggered by past events, right? And the
Yeah.
current struggle. It helps them come into the present moment and move out of the emotions completely and
Mhm.
have some cognitive, some thinking as well. And so, because this unit is also focused on trauma-informed care,
Yes.
I just want to reflect back to you that when you're doing that, you're using a trauma-informed care tactic, process, skill. It's
Mm.
and Alice is presenting on the presentation day on trauma-informed care, and that'll come up again. And at that point, I think you will see, oh, that's me using trauma-informed care. I didn't know that's what it was called, but that's what you're doing. So you talk to someone who's suicidal or
Mm.
thinking of harming themselves, and you ground them in the now, that is critical. So when they leave your presence to do whatever is next, they're in the present moment. They're not stuck in the trauma of the pain that has caused them to want to hurt themselves. That's trauma care. So after we have Alice's presentation, if you can ask questions to help make that connection, and then you can check off that indicator.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
that's one of the ways I've observed you doing it.
And you know what? Since I hear you, what you're telling me, I find out that I'm doing that in myself when I was in the stage of depression, because the depression that is holding in your past. Okay, it's about what you cannot do it. Oh, when I do this, I cannot do it this now. But when you brand the thoughts in the now why you cannot do it, what you can do it right now, taking me out of depression.
That's right. And when you hear me say this often to us, and when we go to the future, and that's anxiety, we start worrying about what's next, we're also not in the now. So I pointed out to the group, oh, we're not here anymore. You're going to the future. Why are you doing that? Come to the now. It's hard for people to do. So sometimes all you can do is point it out. And then over time, once we realize it, then we can choose to do something different. So past, if I'm in the past, I'm depressed. Got to get to the now. If I'm in the future, I'm anxious. Oh my goodness, what's coming? What's coming? But
you're right. And that brought me to the theological arena.
Oh, say more.
When Jesus say, don't be worried about the tomorrow, how you eat, how you're gonna dress. Okay? Because our Father who are in heaven know what you need. And Jesus brings you to the moment, to the now. Don't worry about tomorrow, has inches. And forget about the past, because I'm gonna do greater things, say God. So there is a message right there.
Oh yeah,
you appreciate, there is a message right there,
Yes.
Prophet Isaiah say, forget about the past. Okay? Because God is gonna do greater things.
Yeah.
And Jesus say, don't be worried about tomorrow. Okay? Yeah. Every day has his own issues. You deal with that.
And it's sufficient.
Exactly. What is next? You'll be worried about what is next. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So, you do that as a spiritual caregiver. That's part of your style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I very often. I was in a room with that old lady. She says she felt better. She's in CCU. But where was her son and her daughter? And I was talking to them. And I told them, we lost the moment because we think in the future. Where I mean by that, you have to enjoy the time where you're at, and don't be worried about the things that God has to do it. Say, you two are here worried about your mom. That's okay. She's sick. She's getting better. But you forget that you two have a long time without seeing each other. When you have to enjoy this moment together. And they look at me like, how do you know that we have a long time without seeing each other? I just thought what I felt. And they realize that they have time in the room where they can enjoy each other as a brother and sister, because they have a long time without seeing each other. And I told them sometimes we lose our minds or thoughts in the worry and don't see the little details that we can enjoy it.
Mm. That's beautiful.
You cannot change the status of your mom worrying because the doctor is scared about her, the nurse is scared about her. We have to enjoy, make memories
Mm.
about one each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the hope coming from that stage or that situation or the atmosphere they are in it. So
Yeah.
in some point, I break that atmosphere up. I'm sorry. Be sorry with yourself, with the situation, and bring hope in that situation.
Very good.
Bring that to the now.
And you didn't do that without first building relationship,
Exactly.
right? And what you did is called reframing.
Yeah.
But first, you built relationship. You built
Yeah.
relationship. And even when you were reframing it for them about the now, you kept asking questions. You kept coming
Yeah.
alongside them.
Yes.
That's excellent.
Yeah, because in the beginning, the way I made the connection with the Spanish-speaking people, and I'm gonna tell you, is so powerful. When you spoke about the country they came from, they open it. When you ask where you coming from, oh, we came from Oaxaca. Oh, what a beautiful place is this? Oh, do you know that? And you start making the connection with them.
Yes.
Talking about the food, when you know the culture, talking about the food, what the people of the area like it.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that made me the freedom to make the connection with them. And as soon as I'm connect with them, I start explaining them.
That's right. You build that relationship first. Yes.
Yeah, because they start asking questions. And when they start asking questions is when the connection is made happen.
Yes.
And then I can affirm, as you say,
Yes.
the situation or the status or why they have to really care about it.
Mm-hmm.
See? Not be worried about the things that they cannot change. Be aware of the things they can change
Mm-hmm.
and affirm them. And that was interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's coming alongside them.
Yep. Exactly like that. So I'm so happy. I'm so
Me
happy
too.
for that.
I'm
Yeah.
happy for they had you.
In middle of this whole drama, I'm fixing my house, which is another.
Oh, wow.
I can believe it. I'm doing that in this time.
Wow.
See, I built a unit in my house, and I have to deal with the construction, with the workers, you name it. So.
Oh, remodeling is stressful.
Oh, yep.
Wow.
Yeah, but I'm gonna finish the course, the unit, almost in the same time I'm gonna finish my project at home.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have to do things that I don't like to do it. I feel so uncomfortable to do it. I'm gonna say I hate to do it. But my middle son came to me. He has 24 years old. And he saw me, I have to take the class. I have to make the verbatims. I have to make the weekly reflections. All the work I have to do it, plus this. Plus I have to come to the hospital. And he told me, Dad, do you know that when you do things that you don't like to do it, your mind is stretching?
Mm.
You are stretching your mind. You are giving to your mind more capacity. You are using your mind. Because if you stop using your mind, what is going to happen? It's going to be damaged. You start deteriorating your mind because you don't use it. It's the same like in a car. You park a car, don't use it. The motor is going to be damaged.
Right.
But the more you use the motor, so when you do things that you don't like, your mind is stretched. They give it to you wisdom. Say, oh, wow, I don't know that. How do you know? I ask him, because I'm studying about that.
Wow.
Say, oh, it's interesting. So he told me, don't be afraid about the challenge that you face. Face it. Face it, because it's gonna make your mind growing.
Wow. There's a
Yeah,
sermon.
I say the same to you.
Sermon. That's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, so I use that's against him. Because when I told him, do this, no, I'm not gonna do it. Straight your mind.
No fair.
It's gonna make you more smart. Don't be afraid of the challenge.
I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna remember that.
I usually do that. Yesterday I am at my older son. Can you borrow me $5? It's gonna be with interest. Say, oh really? Say yes. Oh, I'm gonna pay anything interesting. So he told me that, okay, this is your $5. How much of interest is I have to pay? So 5%. Okay, this is $5 by 5%. Okay, you are a man of your word. And I told him, learn, because I'm gonna test you again. I'm gonna test you. Later on, he asked me for money. Okay, I'm gonna borrow you with interest because you are a man of your word. He looked at me like, really, Dad? Yeah. Yeah, you teach me. If you teach me, it's because you're gonna make it happen too. This is the money, and this is gonna be the person you're gonna pay me. You have to learn, I told my son, because the world is like that. Nothing is gonna be free. You're gonna pay for everything they give it to you. So don't ask for nothing to them, because you're gonna pay the price. The world offers you music for free. No way. You're gonna pay the price for what you heard.
Wow.
The world offers you wine and beers for free. No, you're gonna pay the price for that. So be aware about there is things in the world that he offers for free, but it's not free. You're gonna pay with your own life. And he asked me, how is that? Okay, everything you buy it, okay, costs you part of your life. You are not paying nothing with money. You are pay everything you buy with your life. Because your life, you trade for money and your work. Okay, I'm gonna work, I'm gonna give it to you 8 hours of my life for this salary. Say, yeah, okay. Okay, if you use that salary for beers or cigarettes or whatever you wanted, you are not paying them with money. You are paying them with your life. If you buy a house, it's the same thing. If you buy a car, it's the same thing. So the idea is the more the access that God give it to us in this world, it's not money, it's time.
Mhm.
According to you use your time, it's gonna be what you have it.
Is what you have. Mhm.
If you waste your time, you're not gonna have nothing.
Hmm.
If you use wisely, learning, the most you learn, the most you know it,
Hmm.
and the better income you're gonna have it.
Wow.
Because the income is the result of how you use your time.
Hmm. How do you feel about the cost of your life in this training as you're becoming a chaplain?
The cost of my life in this training is rewarded.
Because it's time away from family, it's time away from church, it's time with people that is exhausting. It's all of that and time, everything.
But it's investing on you.
Mm.
The more I invest in on me, the better life they're gonna have it.
Mm.
See, the school is investing on who? On the person.
On the person. Mhm.
For what? For a better life. If I don't invest in me, it's because I don't love me. If
Hmm.
I don't love myself, and I accomplish the second commandment. Love your neighbor as love yourself. In other words, love yourself and that way love your neighbor.
Mhm.
But the first thing is love myself. And loving myself is to invest in me. And the first thing is invest in knowledge.
This is so helpful, and it reminds me of how precious our time together when we're sharing our verbatims. It's so important that we give each other good learning feedback,
Yep.
because this is your life.
Yep. Yeah. The only thing that you cannot recover, you lose your house, you can recover. You can lose anything, you can recover.
Mhm.
But if you lose time, it's the only thing that you cannot recover.
Mhm. And we spend a lot of time together, and it's important that we have that relationship that lets us help each other grow.
Yes.
'Cause this is why we're here.
That's
Thank you.
why this hour is the most important right now for me.
Mhm.
Okay. And I try to get the most I can. Okay. I try to make this or worthless, am I say right? Valuable.
Right.
The most valuable I can, this or I have to make it happen.
Hmm.
Okay. Why? Because the next meeting is gonna be different.
Right.
It's gonna be another topic, another issue, whatever we can call that.
It won't be
But
now.
the moment is now.
That's right. It won't be now.
That's exactly how I might feel when I enter the room. I don't know if I'm gonna see them again. My brother showed me something, and I took already for myself, and I do it. Do your best to the people you meet. Okay, have something from you that may then remember you
Hmm.
wherever they went. But do with a purpose. So when I meet the people, I try to give it them a hug, a smile, a presence. To them, a word, okay? That made they think in you. Wherever they went, oh, I remember the chaplain Alfredo, he said this to me. As right here in the conversations or in the class, something that I remember, your kindness. And everywhere I went, when I remember the Reverend Donna, I'm going to say kindness. Something that I carry out and help me to be a better person, to be a better human. And I will always try to do that in the rooms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give it to the memories.
Something. Yeah. That's what I wonder if, but I think what you gave those children, they will keep remembering that. They'll keep remembering that because there's probably some difficult days ahead. And they'll go back to that moment again and again. That's a precious gift.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm so humble with God.
Yeah.
Because even though we enter into the rooms, we enter to make a space for Him. That's my goal.
Yeah. Make space for God. Yeah.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
Space for God that I can reflect, make a reflection in the words we spoke because of God. And I learned that anything that made you have some reflections is God trying to speak to you. Because only the God's words make you reflect on those. You forget wasn't God. Was just a feeling or a thought. When you think about that for days, it's God trying to tell you something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the scriptures say the Holy Spirit is going to remind us the past, the present, and the future. And I always thought about that.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
It is so amazing. So amazing.
Yeah, I can say thank you for your time, for your wisdom,
Yeah. Thank you.
for be willing to be used by God in a such kind of way that you can prepare, not only touch people, you're preparing people. Okay, you are not only touching people, you are preparing people. So the way you are reaching people is amazing because we are an extension of you. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I see.
I'm
Anything you put on us, it's not
Right.
wasting.
Yeah.
It's an investment.
It's an investment.
Everything you do and hour on that 5 hours to us is an investment.
Yes.
It's a seed that you are planting in us, who is going to produce later on.
Right.
And that's the way I see the passions. I plant in something and then that they can spread later on.
Yeah.
And their families and their friends.
Yes. And I am so clear that it's nothing but God working through my, what is that, this scripture talk about this treasure in a clay jar. I'm so clear it's God working through me. I'm a grateful, humble servant.
Yeah.
I feel blessed to be called to be an educator. I am in awe that God could use me in this way. And
Yeah.
and I have to keep working to get better and better. And it's
Yeah.
just the grace of God.
Yeah.
Be a chaplain and grow with chaplains and teach chaplains. Thank you, God.
Yeah.
I have
I,
the
I,
best job in the world.
I can affirm that because I never want to be a pastor.
Mm.
I always running away to be a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
And here am I, being a pastor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But I can say I am a pastor by calling
Mm-hmm.
because God put me in this place. And He's equipped me to do the job I have to do right here.
Yes. Yes. If I just let God, God keeps equipping me.
Yeah. My wife told me, wow, I doesn't have enough words to thank God for what He's doing with you. Because He gave it to you a complete church building already. You have everything in the hospital that any pastor in the world want to have it.
Mm.
All the equipment, okay,
Mm-hmm.
all the ships, you just take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
Say, wow,
And
yeah,
in a very trusting you, to use that image, trusting you with the sheep at a very vulnerable time in their life.
yes. I'm believe in the scripture that God gave it to me when I spoke to the people, when I write down everything about the Psalms 23 verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of the dead, I fear no evil, because you walk with me.
Yes.
And that's my calling. And God told me, I call you to walk with them when they are walking in the valley of the shadow of the dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought you to bring them comfort, okay, and strength to them.
That's beautiful.
And when I entered into the rooms, I know I'm not coming to change nothing. I came to walk with them
Mm-hmm.
in this process. And it's amazing because the people can feel it.
Mm-hmm. And
Because
even without saying God, they are feeling God as I would name it, even if they
yeah,
don't name it that way.
yes, even though they never say it, they see something different
Mm-hmm.
because it's something that the world cannot imitate.
That's right.
It's the Holy Spirit.
And medicine can't do it.
Nope.
It has its place. And social workers have their place. You know, doctors have, everybody has their place. And we have this precious place called spiritual care.
And you know what I find it? When the doctors or the nurses, they don't know what to say to the people, they call us.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a weekly report for this week about a mom who has a miscarriage in her home. Okay, he came and he was crying. She was crying. She was so emotional. So the nurse called me and said, Chaplain, can you came? Yeah, what happened this mom? And I don't know what to say to her. And that's when everybody calls us, when they don't know what to do or
Yeah.
what to say.
That's, yeah.
And here am I, like, I know what to say. If they know that we don't know nothing about that, and we,
Don't tell them. Yeah, it's beautiful. I don't know what to say, but I know who knows what to say.
exactly, this is the difference. And you said right. You are totally right.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say, but another person who is going to comfort.
That's right. I know the comforter.
Yes, that's what the beauty of the being there. This
Yeah.
is the beauty of the being there. Because when you are there, you don't have to say nothing. And a smile is enough. And a hug is enough.
When you're in that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you ask, can I put my hand in your shoulder? It's all they needed.
Yeah.
It's the secret of the silence place. It's the most precious healing place.
Okay, now you got another sermon, the secret of the silent place.
Yeah, you're right. The secret of the silent space.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I get out, she was smiling.
She
was
hope.
so thankful.
Yeah.
She the tears that came, and running on her sheets was different because was tears of gratitude and still or tears of sorrow or grief. We changed the meaning of the tears.
Yeah.
As Juan say, in your tears spoken what they say in that moment.
Wow.
And bring the people in another dimension.
That's right.
And bring to the moment, okay? In my tears spoke what they say right now.
Yeah.
And we bring the passions in that moment.
That's Rod's. Rod says that often. Yeah.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. All right. We are out of
Okay.
time.
Yeah, no. You see, one hour's fly.
It does. And I will see you tomorrow.
Okay. See you
All right.
tomorrow. Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Okay. Bye. God bless you. Bye.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good day, Reverend Donna.
How are you?
I'm fine, are you?
I am great. Let me close this out so we don't get disturbed. Forgive me. Thank you. Okay. Alrighty. Hopefully that will not go off while I'm here. What did you have for our agenda today?
Yeah, is continuous strive to grow in the process. I think the past few weeks have been really instructive, and I also wanted to, though I sent my this in late, the third verbatim.
Yes.
I don't know if you were able to look at it, but if not, but I was been trying to understand my role within cross-cultural settings,
Okay.
Intercultural competencies, like you mentioned the last time. So, we'll see if there are indices to rate my growth in that regard. Because I know that orienting systems and narrative history plays a lot of roles.
Okay.
So I don't, it's not for me to assess if I've really been making progress. That's part of why I mentioned it in my weekly report, the mid-unit evaluation when, we were able to hear what others said. I quoted the scriptures when Jesus asked them, who do people say the Son of Man is, and who do you say I am? So apparently those feedbacks, you want to know, right, could be right, it could be wrong, but at least you have a feeler of what it helps you to assess yourself as well. So I just wanted us to, if possible.
Yes. Can we bring it up? I did get it, but I haven't read it. We could look at it together if you like.
The weekly report?
And do you want to look at the weekly report or do you want to look at the verbatim?
Perhaps any of them that comes handy. Because
okay. Well, we could do let's take a look. I'm thinking the verbatim could be helpful. What do you have a preference at all?
Yeah, since we're going to talk about it tomorrow, perhaps that's why I said probably we'll do the weekly report, because I try to highlight a few significant, and especially I picked up that feedback from my people.
Okay. All right, let me see. I don't think, I know you sent a weekly reflection because I think I acknowledged it.
No, it's not the one you acknowledged. You told me to separate the log of the clinical.
It's from week 7?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I have it. You want to put it on the screen?
I can't.
Yeah. Do that? Okay. Let me see what I can do. Okay, I have it. All right. I can't get it on this screen, but we can both look at it. Do you have it in front of you?
Okay, I can.
We don't have to have it on the screen if both of us have a copy of it.
But you can go on. I wrote it, so I am familiar with.
Okay. So do you mind reading it? And we'll go through it together. This would be very good.
I have to go to my system now. Okay. So okay, there you go. So what I have is and a significant event for the week. By providing spiritual care and grief support to a family of a deceased patient. Like in all situations, to lose someone is very devastating. The loss of a dear one can be one that nearly everyone comes ill prepared for. It therefore requires soothing and calming presence of no less a person than a chaplain to be on hand to render bereavement counsel, emotional support through compassionate assistance and empathic presence. This was what played out in my clinical site. It was equally more of a learning curve for me in the sense that the faith tradition of the family was very novel to me. They were adherents of a religion from the ancient Far Eastern tradition. Most of the members of the family, who, by the way, were very large for the occasion, they had flown in from nearly every part of the country to be by their own family member. But they did not know what to do and how to handle an event like the death of one from their own faith tradition. At this point, my interfaith exposure in CPE served me well. I was able to rise up to the moment and afford the family spiritual care.
Okay, let's stop there with number 1. And I think you demonstrate already your empathic presence. It seems already you're emotionally attuned to the fact that they're dealing with grief. Excellent awareness that you need to have some interfaith sensitivity because this is an unfamiliar religious tradition to you. So I'm clear you recognize the importance of your presence and of the family guiding the process. I think your phrasing, I would love to hear more about this. No less a person as a chaplain. Why you say no less a person as a chaplain?
I meant it in the sense that it was right and fitting for the chaplain to step into that void, so to say. Not a doctor, not a nurse, not a caregiver, but the chaplain was adequately prepared to do that. That's what I meant.
Okay, I can appreciate that. That makes sense because the chaplain has particular skills to be present with this family at this point of bereavement. All right. Okay. Let's go to point 2. I apologize for that. Let's go to section 2. All right.
Okay. I said my role at that time was that of making sure I am an integral part of the caregiving process. I made sure to accompany hospital personnel, staff patients, and their family with inner resources for strength and capacity to carry on. I elect to be a worthy and reliable accompaniment and companion in their struggles, to talk with and listen to them in the distress and crisis of a clinical environment. I look, to assess properly, situate myself and my responses so as to identify options for growth in my roles.
Very good. So you're clearly a companion to them. You're offering both support to both the staff and the patient, which is very good. The idea you're a worthy and reliable accompaniment, that idea of that servant leader mindset, that's powerful. Look to assess properly. Look.
Yeah, that's in this case. Sorry.
Got it. I
I'm
got it.
sorry.
Got it. Excellent. So you want it in that context, you would both have feedback from the staff in terms of some of the dynamics, making sure you're aware. I would encourage you to also reflect on any power dynamics with the group. Excellent, though. Let's continue. Very good.
So, number 3, when I responded to the consult from the duty nurse regarding the passing of a patient who had a large family on the clinic floor, it was a critical issue for me. I arrived quickly and went in to meet with the family. After the introductions, I exercised cultural sensitivity by deferring to them to update me on some of the requirements and practices that their faith background would require, the tradition, culture would demand for me and for our personnel. So that was the first move. Then the CPE curriculum had already armed me with intercultural competencies and interfaith consciousness to be able to respond to them in fitting and satisfactory manner. Even though the elderly in the family, in the mix, were not even certain of the religious practices in the event of death and bereavement, I was able to walk them through the situation by my presence and calming disposition.
Powerful. Can you name specifically how the curriculum prepared you? And can you talk a little bit about how you felt internally as you're getting this information from them and connecting with them?
Yeah, actually, I panicked, because I had to call. This is my third unit. That was the last unit, or rather the former unit, Unit 2. One of my peers is a Buddhist, but I called him. He didn't pick up his call. So, but I started, reflecting on what he, like the breath we used to practice, the breathing and all that, and the short meditations. He was very good, putting us through all that. Especially when we were emphasizing self-care. So he gave us a lot of models to follow. So I knew it was part of their faith tradition. When he didn't answer me, I now had to, dig up some of the things he mentioned, because those in the house, in the meeting, were not even familiar. Like, you meet some Catholics, they don't go to church, they don't even know what Catholics do. So some people are, because their families identify as such and such, so they answer that in name. So many did not even know how that faith tradition deals with, death. So they couldn't give me information, even the elders, like I said. So I had to now use, the experience I got from that, my former colleague.
Okay.
Gathered them together, and we, we went in, observed the silence, and now asked them to speak some positives, what on the life of the person, how it affected them. A few of them gathered courage and spoke up. After the silence, then we committed him, his spirit, to go into their what they call consciousness, you know. So that was how I handled it. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. How did you feel?
Yeah, like I said, initially I panicked, but along the line, my confidence grew when I now, I thought that my lifeline, if I had gotten him, he would have told me what to do, but I didn't get him. So I had to dig up from the past and, and it turned out an encounter that benefited myself and the entire family.
Okay. So it sounds like it might have been a benefit that you couldn't get a hold of your lifeline, who might have given you some things to do that may or may not have resonated with that family.
Mhm.
So you recalled a particular practice and something that you can do across any faith tradition or no faith tradition, and you were very present with them.
Oh.
Yeah. And that is I think that demonstrates cultural humility, that you don't have to know what the religion prescribes, but you lean into being present and open to what may be helpful for those people. Because the religion and the people are not an equal sign. As you said, you meet people who are Catholic who don't know the rituals of the religion. So it might be good that you didn't get your lifeline. Because there's a way in which maybe it made you focus more on the people in front of you and what can we do here. That's really good. Okay, continue.
Yeah. So, wonderful. I need to follow seriously the laid down curriculum and trust the process of my learning. This will definitely aid my effective spiritual care practice. I
What
need
is that?
to talk
Okay.
about suggestions for improving my effectiveness in pastoral care.
Okay, so here too, I would encourage you to be more specific about what specifically do you want. That's, you think about the goals you identified for yourself, your learning goals,
Yeah.
and how does this situation connect with your learning goals? Does it say to you, hey, I need to add a learning goal around theological diversity, learning about different traditions and grief or bereavement? So I think it can be helpful to be more specific.
Okay.
So like, I appreciate that you want to see in every moment an opportunity for learning and growth. So how have you, since this moment, used that as an opportunity for learning and growth?
All right. Thanks.
And you named their faith tradition. Were they Buddhists or were they something else? What was their tradition?
Yeah, I think Hindu. No, they are
Okay.
Buddhist. Yes.
So what are things that you can do now, having encountered a culture and a religious tradition that you don't know a lot about? Since then, what are things you can do? Are you aware of resources that you have?
Well, we were talking about the learning goals. I think first of all, that presence that brings the cultural humility, into the setting.
Okay.
Then with that, then one is now open to work with them, alongside them within their cultural and religious, beliefs. That's what I mean. Rather than, because ordinarily, if I wasn't trained in CPE as a priest, I'll walk in there, perhaps I'll start saying Christian prayers, probably.
Okay.
But now I know not to do exactly that, because that would not be, culturally sensitive of me.
Okay.
Good.
And so what I'm saying is, since then, what else have you done to expand your knowledge?
Well, nothing specifically. Like, I've been going through processing the encounter, yes. But if I also lay my hands on certain literature, getting to read wider uh, some of those practices, I think it will help me.
Okay. So one thing you did in this moment was you reached for a lifeline of a person who you knew from your CPE experience, who was a part of that religious tradition or the cultural tradition. I'm not sure which it was, right?
Yeah.
So I'm asking you now, what can you do to expand your knowledge? How do you do research beyond calling a person to expand your knowledge? That's one of your competencies. That's one of your indicators. So how do you do research to learn about different cultures and traditions?
Yeah, like you said, research entails my reading up materials, surfing the internet, so that I can, reading is to know, to read is to learn.
Okay. So to be specific, you can use some of your chaplain resources.
Okay.
So you're a part of ACPE.
Mhm.
So you can go on the ACPE website,
Okay.
and there's a section that says research, and
Okay.
you can go in there and you can search
Okay.
both the culture and the religion and learn kind of like chaplaincy 101, just the basics that a chaplain might want to know. In addition to, as you said, doing an internet search. And there's a couple of journals. There's a chaplaincy lab that has all sorts of practices that you can do for different religious traditions and different faith communities and different cultures. And that, though, I would recommend those as some additional specific ways that you can expand your knowledge.
Thank
Excellent.
you. That's good. Thank you. I
You're
appreciate this.
What are some, let's continue.
Okay. So number 5, significant learning experience in the peer group. The time my group had for the presentation of our mid-unit evaluation was very interesting. It was particularly significant in the sense that candid comments were made on each member. We also got to know some of our strong attributes as well as our growing edges. I appreciated the insights and feedback I got personally.
Good. Okay. Continue.
Good. On providing spiritual care to the bereaved family, I recall John 11:19, that many Jews came to Mary and Martha to comfort them in their grief over the death of their brother Lazarus. This event highlights the shared grief experience not only by the Bethany community, but in our own common humanity. It was therefore beautiful to have accompanied them with my balm of spiritual care at such a vital moment.
Excellent. Okay.
Good. Again, on the assessment and comments by my peers, it recalls the Matthew 16:13-19 question Jesus put to his disciples. His disciples, who do men say that I am? They responded that some say he's John the Baptist, Elijah, or one of the prophets. Jesus then asked them, "But who do you say that I am?" I found this intriguing, that the various opinions were put forward from and about each and every one of us. It is also instructive that these inputs were made from vulnerable and frank observations.
Mm. Very good. Okay. Anything else you would add to that? Very good.
I think it struck me. It was ordinarily I wouldn't have, it wouldn't have meant a thing, but now that we're talking about anchoring some of these events within our learning goals and all that, so that's why it's, struck me to reflect on it.
Very good. When I'm trying to recall, are you using the BDTI?
Yes, I used it in two weekly reports I've submitted already, but I found this other one to suit this report.
This particular
Mm.
style. Okay. So I don't know why I can't find the syllabus right now, but my recollection is I think let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Because this is unit 3.
Unit 3, yes.
You. Okay.
Because I'm already preparing this other week's report, and is the DBTI that I'm using for it.
For the weekly reflection?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
Are you using 5.23 level 2?
I think in the handbook, I don't know where it is, but I know I used it in, if you could see my other reports, you'll see that I used.
So you did use that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I'm looking at it now. I hate that I can't. So for level 2, has like you have context and background.
Okay, if you see my week 4 report, you'll see that I used adapted from BDTIL from Reverend Roger Steer and Reverend Kidd. Yes, that's what I used in that one. But this other one that is coming, I'm using it as well.
So you're using it for the one that you're going to be sending me for tomorrow?
No, the one we reviewed now is the one I said, but the one for this week that we're.
Okay, so going forward, only use the level 2.
Okay.
Don't use it because you can glean more from the level 2 format now.
Yeah.
So the dynamics are so important, and that would be part of my feedback for this reflection is there's no examination of the interpersonal or intrapersonal. So that would enhance it.
Okay. Because I can see where it talks about interpersonal dynamic, intrapersonal dynamic.
Right. And then there's a section in there on theory.
Okay.
And there's no theory in this reflection. that you've done. But if you use the level 2, you would have the dynamics and you would have theory.
You're correct.
So I want you to add those two because that will help your learning. It'll help the information that you get out of it.
And mostly because I also chose within this unit to advance the theoretical, content and background of my CPE. Yeah, you're correct.
Right. And on that format, there is a book that's a handbook that talks about different contexts, different cultural contexts, different religious traditions that's listed in the bibliography that you might find very helpful because it covers all different kinds of traditions.
Where can I lay hands on that?
It's in the, if you look at the level 2, there's a bibliography that follows it.
Okay, in the handbook.
Yep. And you'll
Okay.
see it right there. And it
Okay.
gives you, it's a general bibliography, but it's broken down into specific sections.
Okay.
So that's another resource for your research.
All right. Thank you.
One of the questions from level 2 says, as you look back, was the intervention you used effective? So now when you look back on this time with this family, do you think your intervention with them was effective?
Yeah, even though it was improvised, yes, but it served its purpose. Yeah.
What was its purpose?
The purpose was meeting them at the point of their grief. And I succeeded in calming them down, and their thoughts were more organized, especially when I, gave them opportunity to speak up and say some few words on how the life of their, brother affected them. So they now, even though they were emotional, they were crying, and they were saying things from their heart. So I felt, and at the end, they were appreciative. They were thanking me, and all that. So I think for me, I evaluate it as a success. And
So you feel like it was effective. Excellent. And that feedback from them certainly would confirm that. So what part of your theory of coming alongside people who are experiencing grief suggests that you have to, as you said, calm them down?
yeah, I think my trauma-informed reflexes will also, kick in at those times, because grief comes with, some people first of all, some are confused. So many live in denial. Many don't know how to handle grief. And that's why coping mechanisms apply, including the role of such a person as a chaplain. Being there, not obstructing or shutting them down, allowing them to let it flow, but also controlling things by way of bringing the soothing, I call it a soothing balm,
Okay, so you created an atmosphere where they could express their sorrow.
Yeah.
So the language you used when you said, I saw my role as to calm them down, I now hear you saying, no, my role wasn't to calm them down. My role was to create an environment appropriate for our context where they could express their grief. Okay. Do you hear the difference?
Yeah, very much.
And so you have theory that's informing that behavior. And at this level of your CPE journey, you want to begin to be able to name that theory. So if it's the stages of grief, right? Or as you just said, it was trauma-informed care. You want to be able to identify it and make a connection between what you observe, the behavior you observe, the dynamics you observe, your intervention, how you respond, and how your theory said to you, this is what you should do. So I met a family in the context of grief. I know a little bit about their culture. I know a little bit about their religion. I came up with an intervention that I felt would create a space for them to honor their loved one and express their grief. I invited them into it. I invited them into a spirit of silence, so you're making connection between your actions and your learning. And that just strengthens and reinforces your learning and your confidence as a chaplain. Because you're making a connection with the why to your what you did. So why did I have moments of silence? Well, I remember something about silence being important and breathing being important. So I tried it, and the family was receptive to it, and it seemed to be helping them. So that's why I did that. And if I were to do it again, this is why I would do this, or this is why I wouldn't. If you had done it and the family said, "Oh, you are insulting us. We do not believe in silence at a time like this. We must wail to honor our loved one." Then you would go, "Oh, I won't do this again." When I look back, it wasn't it. Okay. Very good. You're laughing. Why are you laughing?
Interesting the way the picture you paint.
Okay. So what have you learned about yourself as a result of this spiritual care encounter?
Honestly, Reverend Donna, I didn't know it's CP is like this. I'm getting more involved. I thought I would be watching from the outside. But now, as we're going deeper, in fact, you saw me talk about the labyrinth. Maybe I didn't express it the way it's ought to, but it's, it's got many rooms, complex, interwoven, winding through and all that. So I think my whole experience is, I'm surprised at myself because it's really trickling down, it's sinking in. I think I'm enjoying it.
I heard you say you feel like you're getting more involved. You thought you were going to observe from a distance. Can you say more about that?
Yeah, because by the day at the clinic, encountering patients, I come out. It's not an interview, and it's not something you just you're doing a routine. No. Okay, like yesterday, we were teary. A certain man, he didn't. Well, maybe the nurse made the consult in error. So he said he didn't ask the chaplain to come. And I said, "Oh, but here I am. So how are you doing today?" He said, "Fine." And that's well, we got talking, and he revealed that he's a believer, and he started sharing testimonies of what God has done for him, that he didn't expect that he would be alive, till today. So he started, at the end, both of us shared, wonderful bonding. Yeah, I could connect, and he thanked me for showing up, even if it was supposed to be an error, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed it.
What did you enjoy about it?
The encounter, somebody, he was sick, relying on his sick bed, but he was full of optimism, faith, belief, gratitude, and he's looking forward to going home. So I never saw as many sick people distraught, many almost lapsing, despairing. So you as a chaplain will now come and buoy up their spirit. But not that man. He was already on fire, even though he was calm. But when we started talking, you could see he knew what he wanted and he was very, very positive about it.
It sounds like it was a powerful time together.
Honestly, sincerely, yeah. It was,
And what you did was made yourself available.
even when I wasn't welcome, I thought I walked in, he said, "No, I didn't come for a chaplain." I said, "I'm sorry." Now that I'm here, and we started talking. It was worth it after all.
So you made a connection, even in the quote, like you said, so-called error. You continue to present yourself as open and available and interested in him and there for him, even if he didn't call. And you stayed in the room long enough to connect. How does that feel that you did that, as opposed to say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, have a good day," and leaving?
Patience is also part of the process that we should trust, because I'm not a very particularly patient person, but somehow I'm learning. That's why I said, the whole thing is sinking in. I'm learning to be patient.
Yeah, because getting in the room can be so hard, and you have gotten past getting in the room, and then staying in the room can be hard, and you have had some trials on staying in the room, and you stayed in the room. And not being immediately welcome, because you being a priest doesn't matter to them at all. They don't care. And can tell you, I didn't ask for even a chaplain. So your authority is a very low regard, but your humanity is responded to. I think your humanity and understanding loss and grief is also what showed up for that family, where your culture and your religion were of no regard to them. Your title, no regard, but your humanity and your willingness to be present. I'm here. How are you? I genuinely care. I wear a tag that says spiritual care. And a lot of times what I remind myself when I go in the room is the I in spiritual and the word care. I care. And we go from there. About what? You. How are you? How are you today? And that's what you did with the grieving family. Yes, you had a ritual that you went through, but you know something about grief and honoring your loved one. And with the so-called mistaken visit, you cared. You cared enough to connect. What's coming up for you right now?
I'm reflecting on that, the humanity that I, as a chaplain, bring along that far surpasses the title, the traditions, the rituals. Is strong. That was a strong point. Thank you.
How's that feel?
Refreshing.
Refreshing. Say more.
Yeah. Because what binds us together is our common humanity. That's our patrimony. Every other consideration will amount to diminishing what we hold.
Hmm.
Yeah. Maybe certain reductionism,
Hmm.
but what makes it whole and full is our common humanity.
Wow. Wow. It's powerful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me journey with you today. I
Thank,
felt your presence.
thank you, Reverend Dunham.
Thank you. And I will see you tomorrow.
Thank you. I
You're welcome.
appreciate.
I appreciate you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening. All right.
Have a beautiful